Hi everyone, welcome back to my class, my dear students. So in this session, I'm going to solve the model question paper 1 answers. You all know that yesterday from Karnataka Secondary Educational Examination Board, you all have received the first set model question paper, which includes 120 multiple choice questions from mathematics, science and social science. Okay, so in this session, I'm going to solve the answers for science multiple choice question. So before solving the answer, you must know what is the weightage which they have given for physics, chemistry and biology in the science question paper. So let us look at that first. So when we check the multiple choice question which they have given in the question paper, so totally we have 40 multiple choice questions, right? So totally we have 40 MCQ. See, among this 40 multiple choice question, from the physics part, they have given 14 multiple choice question. Okay. And from the chemistry part, they have given 12 multiple choice questions. And also from biology part, they have given 14 multiple choice questions. So like this, the marks is been divided for physics, chemistry and biology. So totally now we have 40 multiple choice questions all together. Altogether, we have 40 multiple choice questions. Like this, the marks has been divided among physics, chemistry and biology. Okay, it is very important before solving the question, you must know that why are you marking that answer. Sometimes in the multiple choice questions, the answers will be very closer. So which is a very close answer you have to find out, and then only you have to mark the proper answer, and then you have to share that answer in the OMR sheet. As you all know, you should not fold, tear or do anything on the OMR sheet. OMR sheet will be only used to share the answer. Any rough work has to be done on the question paper only. If you have to mark the correct answer, completely mark in the question paper and then you can shade in the OMR sheet. That is the one thing you have to follow so that you can appropriately mark without making any mistake. So without delaying much, let us start answering for the questions which are given in the model question paper 1, which is been released by KSEEB. Firstly, we will start with the chemistry and then biology and then physics. So I also have downloaded the question paper in the mobile itself. So due to lockdown, there is no printout available anywhere. So I will read out the question from here. Same question will also be displayed on your screen. Okay. So I will write the options and I will discuss the answers with you. So the first question is the process used to convert the metal carbonate ores into their oxides. Okay. And the options here are option A is roasting. Option A is roasting. Option B is reduction. Option B is reduction. Option C is electrolysis. Electrolysis. And option D here is calcination. Option D here is the calcination. So our question is the process. It is a process of converting the metal carbonate into its ore. You all have studied about roasting and calcination in the lesson metals and non-metals. See, roasting is nothing but we are roasting the sulfide ore in the excess of oxygen. Okay. So when we talk about reduction, reduction is nothing but reducing something. It is not the conversion. Electrolysis is a process of decomposition of chemical compound. It is not the conversion of carbonate ore. That is most importantly you should know. So moving to last option, calcination. Calcination is nothing but the conversion of carbonate ore into its metal oxide. Okay. C for C. When I was explaining the lesson, I told, okay, calcination is a process of conversion of carbonate ore. So the correct answer is option D. So not the first one, not the second one and not the third one. So fourth option is the correct answer. So the next question is the correct group of saturated hydrocarbon. And the options here are option A, CH4, C2H4, C3H4 and option B, C2H6, C3H8 and C4H10 and option C, C2H2, C2H6, CH4, and option D, C2H2, C3H6 and C4H6. So our question is, you have to find out the correct group of saturated hydrocarbon. What is meant by saturated hydrocarbon? Saturated hydrocarbons are nothing but the alkanes. Yesterday in the carbonates compounds multiple choice question video also I have told about this. So alkanes general formula is CnH2n plus 2. Correct. This is the correct answer for alkanes. So by using this formula, you can solve these choices. So let us substitute the first option for the given general formula. So the general formula is CH4, right? So we have to get the same answer when we substitute C is equals to 1. So when I substitute C is equals to 1, C1H2 into 1 plus 2. So I get C1 is same as C, 2 ones are 2 plus 2 is 4, CH4. So I got the first one. So what about the second one? Let us check the second one. C is equals to 2. So when C is equals to 2, we have to make N is equals to 2. Okay. So here C2H2 into 2 plus 2. We have to get C2H2, 2s are 4 plus 2 is 6. So we got C2H6. But here there is C2H4. So it is not the right answer. First one is not the correct answer. Let us substitute the same formula for the second option. When we substitute, you can already check here. When I substitute N is equals to 2, I already got C2H6. So first one is satisfied. So when we look at the second one, so let us now substitute C3 for the same formula. So C3H2 into 3 plus 2. So we get C3H, 2 3s are 6 plus 2 is 8. So we got this option also. Now let us check the third one. C is equals to 4. That means let us substitute N is equals to 4. C4H4 into 2 plus 2. C4H4 2s are 8 plus 2 is 10. So we also got this answer. So right answer is option B we got. Let us now check why not option C and option D. See, when we substitute N is equals to 2, we have to get C2H6. But here there is C2H2 according to the alkanes general formula. So this option is not correct. So similarly, option D also have C2H2 as the first one, but our answer should be C2H6 if we substitute N is equals to 2. So this is also not the correct answer. The correct answer is option B. The question which they have given is the correct group of saturated hydrocarbon. So the correct group of saturated hydrocarbon is option B. Option B is the correct answer. Next question is the atomic number of element X is 11 and atomic number of element Y is 17. So we have two elements here. One is element X and one more is element Y. So element X atomic number is 11 and element Y's atomic number is 17. So when we continue the question, then the type of bond formed between these two elements. See, there are two elements, element X and element Y. So first we have to find out which element is this. See, element X with the atomic number 11 is sodium because sodium's atomic number is 11. And element Y with the atomic number 17 will be chlorine. Chlorine's atomic number is 17. We have two elements, one is sodium and one more is chlorine. So what is the type of bond formed between these two? You should know. See, as sodium is a metal and chlorine is a non-metal. So sodium is a metal and chlorine is a non-metal. You know the valence electrons present on the sodium, right? It is 1. And what about chlorine? 7 valence electrons are there. So here sodium donates 1 electron and thereby chlorine, what it will do? It will receive the electron. So sodium is donating 1 electron, thereby chlorine will receive and thereby it will satisfy its octet configuration. And sodium also, it is 2, 8, 1, right? So by donating, it will also satisfy its octet configuration. Here the transfer of electrons are taking place. As transfer of electrons taking place, the type of bond formed is ionic bond. So before writing the options only, I am telling the answer. It is ionic bond. So here the options which they have given are hydrogen bond, covalent bond, ionic bond and metallic bond. So why not the hydrogen bond? Hydrogen bond is not formed between metal and non-metal. Have you heard? No. And option B, covalent bond. Yes, you all know when the covalent bond is formed, when there is a sharing of electrons takes place, only that time covalent bond is formed. And option C is ionic bond. Ionic bond is formed when transfer of electrons takes place. And option D, metallic bond. Metallic bond will not form when there is transfer of electrons takes place. So the correct answer is option C, that is ionic bond. Ionic bond is the correct answer. Okay. So the next question is, as the pH of a solution decreases, what happens? Okay. The first option here is they have given OH minus ions. OH minus ions increases. I will write it in the short form. And option B, H plus ions increases. Option C, H plus ions decreases. And option D here is equal number. There will be equal number of OH minus and H plus ions. So our question here is, pH value of a solution decreases. So you know the pH scale, right? The pH scale will start from 0 and it will end at 14. And 7 will be the neutral. When the pH value decreases, when it decreases, what happens? Acidic value increases. That means H plus ions increases. When pH value increases, OH minus ions increases. So our question is, when the pH value decreases, okay, so the first option is OH minus ions increases. Obviously not, because when pH value increases only, OH minus ions increases. Second option, H plus ions increases. Yes, when the pH value decreases, H plus ions increases. And option C, H plus ions decreases. No, it is not correct. Equal number of OH and H plus ions will be there. This is also not correct, because pH value is decreasing. As it decreases, acidic value increases. As acidic value increases, H plus ions also will increase. Hope you understood the answer. The next question is the functional group present in the carbon compound. Here they have given a carbon compound. They have given the structural formula like this. So 3 carbon atoms attached to one of the group here. Okay. And remaining carbons are attached by the hydrogen. So they have given the structural formula like this. So the question is the functional group present in this. And options are aldehyde, alcohol, and ketone and carboxylic acid. These are the options they have given. Option A, B, C and D. So which is the functional group found in this? Very easy to identify. If it is aldehyde, the suffix will be CHO. You should know this. If it is alcohol, the suffix will be OH. So if it is ketone, C double bond O will be there in between. If it is carboxylic acid, the suffix will be COOH. Now easily you can identify what is the suffix here in the structural formula. At the end you can identify COOH is given. So the correct answer is option D. Option D is the correct answer. Why not D's answer? You came to know. Because CHO is there, it is aldehyde. OH, if OH is here, alcohol. If C double bond O is there, then it belongs to ketone group. Here we have COOH. So this answer is carboxylic acid. Next question is that atomic number of an element is 20. In the modern periodic table, this element belongs to which period anta kelidare. So you have to find out the period of that particular element. Period na find out ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. And atomic number of that particular element is 20 and the name of that element is calcium. Calcium anta ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು, because first 20 elements name, atomic number and electronic configuration ಇದೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ನಾನು previous videos ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. Okay. So when I talk about calcium, to which period it belongs to? See, in the first period we have two elements. One is hydrogen and helium, and in the second period the elements will start from lithium, beryllium, boron carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon. And in the third period, the elements start from sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine and argon. And in the fourth period, we have 19th element. The first one is potassium and the second one is the calcium. So this is first period, second period, third period and fourth period. So the question is, the element whose atomic number is 20 belongs to which period? You can observe here it is belonging to fourth period. In the fourth period, we have the calcium. So when they ask to which group it belongs to, you can also say that it belongs to second group. It is in the second group and also it is in the fourth period. So the options which they have given here are option A 4, option B 8, option C 2 and option D is 3. So these four options they have given and the correct option is option A4 because it is belonging to the fourth period. And the next question is the number of single bonds present in the structure of a cyclohexane molecule. See, when I say cyclohexane, so this is belonging to cycloalkane family. When I say cyclo, it will be in the cyclic structure. When I say hex, hex is nothing but there will be 6 carbon atom. Ane is nothing but it is belonging to alkane. It is a saturated, so there will be single bond between them. So when we write the structures, of this, see cyclo, it will be in cyclic structure, 6 carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have to write 6 carbon and there will be single bond between each of the carbon atom because it is ane. So single bond between the carbon atom and each carbon atom will be attached to 2 hydrogen atoms. You know why it is 2 hydrogen atom? Carbon will be having 4 valence electron. So each carbon atom you can observe here, it is been attached to one another. Okay, and its molecular formula is C6H12. Okay, cyclohexane's molecular formula is C6H12 and its general formula is CnH2n. CnH2n is the general formula for cyclohexane. So here the options given are option A, they have given 12, option B, they have given 18, option C, they have given 24 and option D, they have given 6. You have to find out the number of single bonds present in the cyclohexane molecule. Let us find out the number of bonds here. So you can observe this is the first one, second and third, fourth, fifth, 6th, 7th and 8th, 9th, 10, 11 and 12. So we have completed with the hydrogen. So totally we have 12 bonds. Now 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17 and 18. See, totally there are 18 single bonds present in the cyclohexane. So the correct answer is option B. Option B is the correct answer because there are 18 single bonds present in the cyclohexane molecule. So the next question is, observe the following chemical reactions. See, there are 2 chemical reactions which they have given. One is iron when it combines with copper sulfate. It gives rise to iron sulfate and copper is reduced here. Okay, copper is reduced. And the next equation they have given is zinc when it combines with the ferrous sulfate. So we get zinc sulfate, iron is reduced here. So these are the 2 chemical equations they have given. So here you have to find out the decreasing order of reactivity of metals in the above reaction. Zinc is more reactive than iron and iron is more reactive than copper. Option B, iron is more reactive than copper and then copper is more reactive than zinc. Option C, zinc is more reactive than copper and copper is more reactive than iron. And option D is copper is greater than, that means more reactive than iron and iron is more reactive than zinc they have given. Okay, see if you observe the chemical equations here, iron when it is combining with the copper sulfate solution, it is displacing copper. Okay, because iron is more reactive than copper. Okay, when we look at the second equation, zinc when combines with the ferrous sulfate, what happened? Zinc is more reactive than iron. Okay, zinc is more reactive than iron. So what happened? Zinc displaces iron from the iron sulfate or ferrous sulfate solution. So which is more reactive here? Zinc is more reactive. So option A and option C, you have to keep it in the mind, not option B and option D. So zinc is more reactive than the iron. So that is why first place should be given to the zinc. Okay. So when we look at this, okay, iron and copper, iron is more reactive than copper. That is the reason iron is displacing the copper from the copper sulfate solution. Compared to copper, iron is more reactive. So the second place should be given to the iron, not to the copper. Okay. So that is the reason first option is correct. I repeat once again. See, when iron is combining with the copper sulfate solution, iron being more reactive than copper, iron displaces copper from copper sulfate solution. But zinc is more reactive than iron. So zinc displaces iron from the iron sulfate, which we also call it as ferrous sulfate solution. Okay. So option A is the correct answer here. So the next question is the gas liberated when dilute sulfuric acid reacts with the zinc. See, whenever the dilute sulfuric acid reacts with the zinc plus dilute sulfuric acid H2SO4, okay, so which is the gas released we have to identify. Okay, so zinc, when it reacts with the sulfuric acid, we get zinc sulfate and hydrogen gas will be released. So already we got the answer. Okay, so the options given here are sulfur dioxide. They have given sulfur dioxide. They have given carbon dioxide. I am writing it in the short form. They gave nitrogen and they also gave the hydrogen. So the correct answer is option D. Option D is the correct answer, because when zinc is reacting with the dilute sulfuric acid, zinc will combine with the sulfate, okay, and hydrogen gas will be released. So option D is the correct answer. Next question is NaOH plus HCl. See, I will write the equation. NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide. When it combines with the hydrochloric acid, it gives rise to NaCl, that is sodium chloride and water. The question here is, this chemical reaction is an example of. The options given are neutralization reaction. So they have given neutralization reaction as the option, and the option B is a substitution reaction. It is a substitution reaction, and option C is addition reaction, and option D here is combustion. Option D here is the combustion. Okay, so you have to identify that which type of reaction is this. So when you look at this equation, this is base, NaOH is base and hydrochloric acid is the acid. So base plus acid gives rise to sodium chloride is our salt and the water is also being released. Okay, so base plus acid gives rise to salt and water. This is the example for neutralization reaction. You know what is meant by substitution reaction? What happened there? Chlorine will substitute hydrogen atom one by one. So that is happening in the substitution reaction. Addition reaction, what happens? Addition of hydrogen will take place. What about combustion? Carbon will burn in the presence of oxygen to give the carbon dioxide, water, heat, light. All these things will happen in the combustion. But in neutralization reaction, acid and base will react to give the salt and water. So that is the reason the correct answer is neutralization reaction. Okay, this is what will happen in the neutralization reaction. When acid combines with the base, we get the product as salt and water. And when we look at the other three answers are not at all correct because they have their own definition. Okay, so the correct answer is option A. And the last question from the chemistry part is the molecular formula of benzene. See, the option they have given here are C5H12, option B they have given C6H12, option C they have given C6H6 and option D they have given C6H10. See, when you look at this, first of all you should know what is the molecular formula of benzene. See, benzene's molecular formula is option C. This is the benzene molecular formula. Then what about the other three options? See, C5H12, sorry, I have written 2, C5H12. So this is the answer for pentane. Pentane's formula is C5H12. So because C5H, 5 to the 10 plus 2, 12, pentane. C6H12 is a pentene. It is a pentene. Okay. And C6H10, the formula of pentyne. So pentyne's formula is C6H10. So the correct answer here is option C, C6H6. It is the molecular formula for benzene. Okay. So this is all about the chemistry. I hope you all have clearly understood. All the questions are very easy and most of the concepts I had explained you in the earlier sessions. Okay, all the 12 questions which they have been asked from the chemistry part is definitely easy, students. You all can do well in the examination and they have not asked any twisted question. All the questions in the chemistry are directly asked. They are all the statements or the formulas like this only. They are not at all difficult. You definitely can do better in the examination. So now we will move ahead to understand the questions from the biology part. Okay. The seventh question, the process that helps in the absorption of upward movement of water and minerals dissolved it from the roots to the leaves in the plants. Okay. And the options which they have given here are respiration. They have given the respiration as the answer, and the second option they gave transpiration. Second they gave transpiration. First they gave respiration, second transpiration, and third one they gave photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. And the fourth option they have given here is a translocation. Translocation. So if we check out each and every option, you can firstly see the respiration. Respiration means the plants take in oxygen. Do not confuse, only during photosynthesis plants take in carbon dioxide, but when plants respire they take in oxygen. So when we talk about transpiration, transpiration is something, it is absorbing the water from the roots, okay, and it will be distributed to the different parts of the plant. And when we look at the option C, as I told you, photosynthesis, it's a process of preparation of food in the presence of sunlight, carbon dioxide, minerals and all those things. And when we talk about translocation, translocation is transportation of food and it takes place in the phloem. Okay, so according to our question, option B is the correct answer. Transpiration is the correct answer because the question says the process that helps in the absorption of upward movement of water. See, transpiration, what happens? The water will go upward in the transpiration. Transpiration is nothing but the loss of water also. If the loss of water has to take place, the water has to be absorbed from the roots. Water has to pull from the root. Okay. So, transpiration in simple words, we can say it's a loss of water and it takes place through the upward movement of absorption of water. Okay. So, option B is the correct answer. And the next question is the correct pathway of oxygenated blood coming from lungs to heart in the human body. You can check out the options on the screen. Okay, as options are very lengthy, it takes a lot of time. I will display on the screen only. See, the first option is pulmonary arteries to right ventricle and then to right atrium. Next, pulmonary arteries to right atrium and right ventricle. Option C, pulmonary veins to left ventricle and then to left atrium. And option D says pulmonary veins to left atrium and then to left ventricle. See, you must know that when the oxygenated blood comes from the lungs, okay, you know that the blood get oxygenated in the lungs and the oxygenated blood come from the lungs. So, from the lungs, it reaches to the pulmonary veins. Option D you have to look at. See, pulmonary veins, it will reach. From pulmonary veins, it enter to left atrium and from left atrium, it will enter to left ventricle. Okay, so option D is the correct answer. So you have to look for the option 4 because the oxygenated blood enters through pulmonary veins. And you know the only veins which carries the oxygenated blood is pulmonary veins to the heart. So from pulmonary veins, it enters to left atrium and then to left ventricle. So option D is the correct answer. Okay, and the next question is the hormone that regulates the carbohydrate, protein and the metabolism in the human body is. So you have to find out that. Okay, so options are Option A, testosterone. See, option A, testosterone. And option B is adrenaline. Option B is adrenaline. Option C is thyroxine. And option D is insulin. See, they told about protein fat metabolism. What about testosterone? Testosterone is responsible for secondary sexual development in the human male. What about adrenaline? This is the emergency hormone. Okay, it releases during the emergency conditions, increases the heartbeat rate, all these things, blood pressure and all. What about thyroxine? Thyroxine will help in the metabolism of protein, fats and all. When we look at the option D, insulin is released in our body to maintain the blood sugar level. Okay, so option C is the correct answer, not the option A, option B and option D. Thyroxine will help in the overall body metabolism, especially the fat metabolism, protein metabolism and also the carbohydrate. Okay, so option C is the correct answer. Moving to 70th question, the mismatched pair among the following. You can look at the options on the screen. Option A, adrenaline, pituitary gland. Option B, testosterone, testis. Option C, insulin, pancreas. Option D, thyroxine, thyroid gland. See here, you have to look for the mismatch, not the correct one. Okay. See, option A, adrenaline. What is adrenaline? Adrenaline is an emergency hormone. Released by which gland? Released by adrenal gland. So they gave pituitary, so it's a wrong one. Okay, put it as wrong. So option B, let us check whether it's correct or not. Testosterone, it's a hormone released by testis, so it is the correct answer. When we look at the option C, insulin, definitely it is released by pancreas, so it is correct answer. Option D, thyroxine. See, thyroxine is a hormone released by the thyroid gland, so it is also the correct answer. So here the not correct one is the option A. Because adrenaline, pituitary gland is the wrong one. Adrenaline should be adrenal gland. Okay. So moving to next question, the part of the human brain responsible for precision of voluntary actions and also the maintaining posture and balance in the body. You have to note it properly. And the options are, option A is pons, option B is a cerebrum, and option C is a hypothalamus, and option D is a cerebellum. So you have to find out the part of the brain which is responsible for precision and also which is responsible for maintaining the balance of body. See, when we talk about the pons, see, pons in our brain is responsible for exchanging the messages. Between what? It is exchanging the messages between the brain and also the spinal cord. So that is the function of the pons. And when we talk about the cerebrum, in simple words, it is a thinking part. It is the largest part of the brain. Correct. And when we talk about the hypothalamus controls the sleep and awakening in our body. It is working like an alarm. So, but when we talk about the option D, cerebellum controls all the involuntary actions. Cerebellum controls the posture and also it maintains the balance of body. Okay, so the correct answer is option D, cerebellum. Cerebellum is the correct answer. Okay. So the next question is, a pathogen that causes the gonorrhea and syphilis transmitted through sexual contact. So you know, when we talk about the sexually transmitted diseases, it will transfer through bacteria as well as virus. So you can check out the options on the screen. The options are protozoa, option B bacteria, option C virus and option D fungus. See, when we talk about the sexually transmitted diseases, it will be transmitted either through bacteria or through virus. See, when I talk about the virus, okay, the disease transmitted through virus is AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. But here the names of the diseases given in the question are gonorrhea and syphilis. Gonorrhea and syphilis is also sexually transmitted disease, but it will be transmitted through bacteria, not through the virus. Okay, so here the correct answer is option B, bacteria. So the next question, the options will be displayed on the screen. See, the correct sequence found in the process of sexual reproduction in the flower is option A, pollination, fertilization, embryo and seed. Option B, seed, embryo, fertilization and pollination. Option D, pollination. Option C, embryo, seed, pollination, fertilization. And option D, pollination, fertilization, seed and embryo. You have to write the correct sequence. What will happen in the process of sexual reproduction? See, when the sexual reproduction has to take place, first thing which has to happen is pollination. Transfer of gametes has to take place. Okay, transfer of pollen grains has to take place. That is the first step. So, you have to look for the option A and D, because in option A and option D, both the cases we have pollination. So, you have to check out the answer among those two. Second, after pollination, what has to take place? Once the gamete will come closer, the fertilization will take place. So, now you got the correct answer. Again, we have fertilization in option A and D. Okay, first the pollination and then the fertilization. After fertilization, what has to happen? You have to check it. After fertilization, embryo will become, there is a formation of embryo and that embryo will become seed. But in the option D, you can see it. First they have given seed and then they have given embryo. So option A is the correct answer. First there will be pollination process and then place. After the pollination, fertilization will happen. After fertilization, there is formation of embryo and then finally it will become seed in the case of flowers. Okay. But in the case of the human, it is very different. The end product will be the baby. Okay. Correct answer is option A. So the next question is the part of the plant seed that grows and develops into a root on germination. Check out the options on the screen. Option A is cotyledon, option B is endosperm, option C is radicle and option D is seed coat. And the correct answer is radicle, because radicle will develop as a root on germination. So correct answer is option C. And the next question is, if a round seeded pea plant is crossed with the wrinkled yellow seeded plant, the seeds produced in the F1 generation. See here, round yellow means capital R, capital R, capital Y, capital Y. Wrinkled green means small r, small r, small y, small y. See, on crossing, we will get the product as capital R, small r, capital Y, small y in the F1 generation. So what is this called as? It is called as round yellow. Why it is round yellow? Because we have the dominant characters here. Capital R is a dominant character which is round. Capital Y is a dominant character which is yellow. So in F1 generation we get answer as round yellow. So you can check out the options given on the screen. So the first option is round and green. Second option is wrinkled and yellow. Third one is wrinkled and green. Fourth one is round and yellow. And the correct answer is round and yellow. In the F1 generation you get round and yellow. So the next question is, the experiences of an individual during its lifetime cannot be passed on to its progeny. Progeny andre offspring anta heltivi athwa next generation alli hutto magu anta kuda heltivi. Very simple. Okay. So because they are anta kelidare andre ನಮ್ಮ ಲೈಫ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್, ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಿ ಗೇನ್ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ಅವರ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಟೈಮ್, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ನಾಟ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಟು ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಜನೀಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್. ವೈ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ you have to say why. Okay, and the options here are, you can check it on the screen. Option A is inherited traits, option B is acquired traits, option C is dominant traits, and option D is recessive traits. See, you cannot consider the first option because inherit, when I say inherit traits, that will be passing from one generation to another generation. So when I check out with the option B, acquired traits, yes, of course, the traits which we obtain during the lifetime is called as acquired traits. So the option B is correct answer. Why not option C? What is meant by dominant trait? The trait which is dominate over the recessive trait are called dominant trait. For example, when we write capital R, small r, capital Y, small y, we say round yellow. Why? Because here dominant trait is dominating over the recessive. Small r is recessive. So dominant trait, when it dominate over the recessive trait, it is called as dominant trait. So next, option D, they have given recessive trait. So recessive traits are nothing but the traits which cannot be expressed in front of the dominant traits. Okay, so the correct answer is option B, acquired traits. Okay. So the next question is, analogous organs have, and the options are option A, you can check it on the screen, same structure, same function. Option B, same structure, different function. Option C, different structure, same function. Option D, different structure and different function. Here the analogous means the organs with the different structure and perform the same function. Best example, we can take butterfly and the bat. Both are having wings. Here the structure of the wing in the butterfly and the structure of wing in the bat, both are different. But the purpose of wing there is flying. Okay. So analogous organs, when I say analogous, the organs, they are different in structure but they perform the same function. Okay. So here the option C is the correct answer. Option A cannot be considered because it is not having same structure. Option B, they have given different function. So no, it is having same function. Option D, they have given different structure, different function. No, it is having different structure but it will perform the same function. So option C is the correct answer. Moving to 78th question, ozone layer is formed from oxygen at the higher levels of atmosphere by the action of. See, ozone is formed. How ozone is formed, I'll tell you. See, ozone is formed by splitting the oxygen molecule. See, there will be oxygen molecule in the atmosphere. When oxygen molecule come in contact with the ultraviolet radiations, so this oxygen molecule will split as free atoms of oxygen, that is O plus O. Again, when this free atom of oxygen combine with another oxygen molecule, we get O3, that is ozone. Okay, this is how the ozone layer is formed. Oxygen molecule, when it come in contact with UV radiation, it will split as free atoms of oxygen. When this free atom of oxygen, again when it combine with the oxygen molecule, it will become O3. So here the options given are the option A, X-rays, option B, ultraviolet radiations, option C, infrared radiations, option D, radio waves. You all have come to know the correct answer is UV. When it come in contact with UV only, the ozone is formed. Okay, so option B is the correct answer. So the next question is the product that can no more be used for the original purpose, but it is for some other useful purpose. So here options given are recycle, reduce, reuse, repurpose. See, when one product is not used for the same purpose, let us take an example of a water bottle. So when water bottle is not used for only filling the water, the same bottle is used for some other purpose, we are calling that as repurpose. We are using that same product for another purpose. So it is not considered as a recycle. It cannot be considered as a reduce. Reducing means reducing something which is harming for environment. And option C, reuse. We are reusing, of course, but we are using the same product for different purpose. So that is why the answer is repurpose. So the next question and the last question of biology is the watershed management. And the options, you can check it on the screen. Increases the production and income of watershed community, increases the droughts and floods, decreases the biodiversity and downstream reservoirs, and increases the deforestation. Correct answer here is option A. Because when watershed management is there, we are managing, we can increase the production and we can also increase the watershed community. So that is why the first option is the correct one. Option B says increases the droughts. See, when we manage, it does not harm anything. So option B is not correct. When I say option C, decreases the biodiversity. When we are managing the watershed, why it will decrease the biodiversity? So it is not correct. So option D, increases deforestation. Deforestation is nothing but cutting down the trees. So that is also not the correct answer. So the correct answer is option A. Option A is the correct answer. Hope you all found this entire session very useful and you understood the each and every multiple choice question along with why the answers are being marked. Okay, this is all about chemistry and biology. So now for the physics part, I will give the answer key in the description box below, and even for the chemistry and biology also, I will give the answers in the description box. You can find the link and also prepare for the examination. Hope you found this video useful. If you find this video is useful, please don't forget to share with your friends. Okay, and thank you so much for supporting me and watching my videos.